Hello there and welcome to ADcraft. In today's episode we've got a new snapshot out. That's number 20W15A and it's part of the Nether update, and with this we've got a whole bunch of new blocks. So this video will go through those and show you some fantastic build ideas that you can do using these new blocks, even some pretty big ones. So don't go anywhere and let's get on with the video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you take a moment to hit that like button, and if you like what you see, make sure you do subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future building tips and build hacks. So I'll run through the new blocks, and I'm going to cover the blocks that came in the last couple of snapshots which I didn't cover. So we've got the lodestone here, we've got a respawn anchor, we've got crying obsidian, we've got the nether gold ore and the polished basalt. Those all came from a previous update. Now the main thing that I'm looking at in these updates is the blocks for building purposes. So these are the new ones. We've got chiseled nether bricks, cracked nether bricks, quartz bricks, and now some really exciting ones: Blackstone stairs, slabs and walls. Always good to get new stairs, slabs and walls, and not just one variety. We've got polished Blackstone stairs, slabs and walls again, and some chiseled polished Blackstone, some polished Blackstone bricks with the stairs, slabs and walls, and then just a couple of actual detail blocks as well. Some cracked polished Blackstone bricks, bit of a mouthful that one, gilded Blackstone, and then to go with the brilliant soul lantern from last time, we've got the soul campfire. So we've got some fantastic ideas and things that we can do with some genuinely black and dark blocks with the stairs and the slabs and the walls. So let's get on and show you the ideas. So first of all, we're going to cover a couple of flooring ideas. So what we've got here is we've got the quartz bricks, and then we've got some bone blocks around the outside, and then we've got some quartz pillars going in the corners. So this is using the creamy white blocks. Again, here we are using the bone blocks in the corners, and we've got some of the quartz pillars again, but on the sides, so you can use these in either direction as you can the bone blocks. And then again, the bricks make a very nice centerpiece, nothing too busy there. And these are sort of using the quartz blocks and getting some use out of some lighter colors there before we move on to some of the darker colors. So what we've got here is we've got the warped stem from the previous update. We're using some of the new polished basalt. Now this has got a lovely line that goes alongside, so the coloration around the side is beautiful, and then you can surround that with some of the chiseled Blackstone. So again, a great little floor design, a bit more colourful there. Moving on here, we are using again some of the gilded Blackstone. We've got some of the netherite blocks, and we've actually got some of the smithing tables. So the smithing tables have got a brilliant colour on the top. That goes really well with the gilded Blackstone, and then just some netherite in the middle. It looks a bit like you're walking on hot coals or sort of magma, but without actually having to burn yourself. So that's really bright block, really like that. Here we've got the two different blocks that we've got, the chiseled nether bricks. Now these aren't directional, unfortunately. They would be nice if they were, but unfortunately they're not. In this update there's not so many of the directional ones. The polished basalt is really the only directional block, and then we're combining this with the chiseled polished Blackstone. So just using those two detail blocks to create this patchwork pattern looks really nice. Then something a bit more colourful, so we've got the respawn anchor here, and then we've got some of the weeping obsidian. If you want something a bit brighter, kind of looks a bit like black holes in the middle of your floor there, so that's a really nice touch. Moving on here, we're using the lodestone for the first time, and the lodestone's got quite a nice top to it and a really bright coloration for it, and we're using the end of the polished basalt there with just some of the ends of the regular basalt. So both these two basalt blocks are directional, and you can get the basalt now from that's craftable by using some ice underneath some of the lava, and you can turn that into basalt. Now again, using here the lodestone with just some smooth stone here. Again, the contrasting colours, they work really well together. And then we've just got some clay. So this is another one that's slightly lighter than some of the others, but again would work really well on a larger scale floor. Here we've got the netherite, and this one's a bit more unusual, some mycelium. So you can use the mycelium and some ancient debris. Now obviously you need to be really rich to use this in survival, but if you are making a creative floor, then this is a really nice centerpiece to that. And that's covered the flooring ideas. Moving on to the walls. We've got, again, something nice and colourful here. We've got the crying obsidian and then the respawn anchor in the wall, and we've just thrown in some regular obsidian and just mixing it up just to get a bit of variation, so you don't just have the bright, and depending on how bright you do want the wall, you can mix more of the respawn anchors or the crying obsidian in. Next, again, we've got a bit of the block variation that you can use with the new Blackstone bricks. So you've got the Blackstone and the Blackstone bricks, the polished ones there, and then some of the polished Blackstone itself. Again, it's just a case of mixing that up and then throwing in some of the cracked ones if you want as well. So you have got quite a bit of variation. Just a great foil to the grey bricks that we have, so the stone and the bricks. These are just kind of the black versions of those. Moving on here, pretty simple design, but one that's quite effective. I really like how the bone block goes with the quartz bricks. So this is one that you can get loads and loads of use of the bone blocks, because they really are a nice colour match in terms of the shading. And again, using the bone blocks, but here just a slightly different design and slightly different pattern. We've got the pillars going sideways, the quartz pillars that is, with the quartz bricks and some bone blocks down the sides as just some pillars. You could also, with these bone blocks here, if you wanted to add a bit of depth to the build, you can, if I can place it in the right place, you can have it obviously so it's offset and have this sitting behind it, and that would look really nice as well. Back to some more bright colours. The sides of these lodestones are incredible. So these are always going to look really nice. You can stick them in with just the regular brick types as well, because they're a good match and mixture of the darks here in the edging and the greys for the bricks itself. So those are a really useful detail block that you can put in, and the way that the shadow's done on them, I really like that. It does give a lot of depth as well to a build. So this one again, I really like these new gold blocks with the gilded blackstone, and then the chiseled blocks. Just a nice dash of colour, just enough colour in there. And so again, that's quite a nice wall pattern that you can have. And here we have some cyan terracotta coming in, and this can go alongside your polished basalt. And again, you can stripe this either direction, but these two work really well as a nice colour combination. Moving on now to some of the build ideas that I've had, and again, these are just from an initial look at this. So one of the things that you've got is the campfire. Now trying to cover up the wood on the campfire is a little bit tricky, but here what I've got is just some of the cyan stained glass, and I've surrounded this with some stairs and then using the walls, and these are just the normal Blackstone walls with just some Blackstone slabs, just the regular stuff really at first, just with a piece of polish chiseled on top, and that's kind of just a nice little feature that could be used for lighting or a bit of a fireplace. Now this is what I mean in terms of the different brick types. So obviously we've got the stone slabs and the stone brick slabs, and mixing that in as a background block, you've got a nice contrast here of the lights and the darks. If you throw in some of these, it kind of looks a bit like the walls are kind of on fire, which is a touch that I liked. Using some of these walls and the stairs as a bit of detailing and just really bringing you into the build, you can kind of see the depth of the different styles, and any blocks that you do want to add a bit more to. You've actually got buttons and you've got pressure plates in the Blackstone as well, which is really good for these builds. So what I've just done is again thrown in for a bit of contrast some of the brick types, and yeah, you've got kind of a little wall and window design that would look really well. You could either have some fence gates or some glass in that window, or just leave it as a whole. I think it looks really good. This one here is using things in a bit more of an imaginative way. So Previously, nobody had any way to use the unstripped birch, really. Probably one of the least used blocks in the game from my experience. However, now that you've got a black block that you can actually use alongside it, you can pick out the combination of the light and the dark. So using, I've just on the back side of this got some levers so that we can power these trapdoors and put them upright. Again, all of these are fully survival friendly. You can use that block, the birch, as some really nice pillars. Now again, I've just used the warped stairs and sort of the warped coloured blocks because we've got these lanterns here, the soulfire lanterns, just to pick out the bluey greeny texture. But you could actually use pretty much anything with this. You could go again back to the bricks, that would look really nice, and then you could put an iron door in there if you wanted, or you could just use one of the wood types, probably something lighter, maybe the birch would also work in there. But there is a bit of difference between the birch and the stripped birch, so that's why I've gone for something a bit more standout. But I think that again, you can get some really nice depth and just get a bit more of an unusual colour combination there and get some use out of the blocks that you don't normally get. Now again, this is nothing new to anybody that I'm guessing, but just as a little cafe design, and this is the first use of the Blackstone pressure plate. Now the Blackstone pressure plate is really good, again as a tabletop, and then just using some of the crimson signs around some of the Blackstone stairs, you can actually see that you can get like a nice little cafe design. And with this contrast, this color combination, it looks much more like a seat. You've got a bit of a difference in that. So again, a nice little touch for any cafe. Moving on to some more lighting, and again making some use of these here soul campfires. This is just a pillar that would give you some light, or just as a fire. You could have this up high with as high a pillar if you wanted, or you could alternatively have just this bit down on the ground. And what we've got here is some polished Blackstone walls, some of the slabs, again polished Blackstone this time. And then just hidden in here for a dash of colour, we've got the respawn anchor here. And again, with that top, it looks really, really good with the wall coming out the middle of it. It's a detail block. So just having, again, these Blackstone stairs surrounding that respawn anchor. I think that looks quite nice as just a little lighting solution. For a fire solution here, or another lighting solution, that's a bit of a different way to go. This time we're using the chiseled polished Blackstone, so making use of this as a detail block, putting in some of the walls again around this, just to contrast, and again using the respawn anchor on top, just as a little design, a little idea. Really like these campfires. I did check, you can still cook food and everything on them, you can still put them out, and when you do relight them, they actually light with the colour that they had. So you can have a combination of these, and then you could go and, for example, set them on fire and have the different colours suddenly appear, even though the actual blocks when you put them out look exactly the same. So they don't, when they're actually lit, you can see some of the blue here, but when you've put them out, they do look exactly the same as the regular campfires. Here, something really small, just one of these respawn anchors with some signs around a campfire and then some buttons. Just nothing fancy, but a little way to put some light or some fire, one of these fireplaces in your build, and then you've got the real nice mixture of these warped signs and the campfires themselves. And last on the building ideas, something a little bit grander here in scale, using some of the depth and using again this combination of the stone with the different types of the Blackstone here, and then just as a hearth, we've got some of the polished diorites, a little grate to keep people out of the fire, and yeah, another little trick that I like is using the different fence gates and opening them up just as a detail touch. They add just that extra layer of depth. So you've got the stairs, then you've got more depth coming in from the fence gates themselves, then you've got the walls, then you've got the buttons, then you've got the stairs, and then you've got the hearth. So you've got a lot of different layers that you can have in something like this as a fireplace, and wherever you move, the shadows move with you as well. Just as I've just put this together as one of the ideas of what you could do as maybe a great hall fireplace. And even though I haven't here, it'd be fantastic to use a combination of the stone, as I have done with that window design, the stone and the Blackstone here, to actually create yourself a medieval style or a fantasy dark castle. That would be really, really good. But yeah, so there's a bit more of a grand fireplace. Oh yeah, and the one thing that I've got in there at the back is the warped stem. So that really, really sets off the colours that you get from your fireplaces there, your campfires. Moving on to some slightly bigger ideas here. We have the first time that you can actually use proper black blocks. We have a Blackstone killer whale or orca, and this is something that I've built on the channel before, but of course I didn't have any black blocks, so I had to use some nether brick, which didn't look anywhere near as good as this did. I will put a card in now for anybody who's interested in knowing how to build this, because this is great for where you've got an aquarium or just some water by your base. And then another touch, something that I worked out, is you've got an eye on the ender chest. So by using a couple of ender chests, you have some really, really good eyes. And all of this is fully underwater safe. So you can waterlog all of the blocks in this, so you won't get any air pockets, and it'll look as good underwater as it does on the land. Now the final thing is something a little bit bigger. And when I saw the black blocks, I thought, well, something black that people have been building or trying to build before, but you couldn't actually build it. And what I decided to do was build a B2 stealth bomber. So again, using this, because you've got a variety of black blocks, you can actually do this. They are completely black in reality, so you wouldn't really, if they'd just given us a single black block, you wouldn't really have been able to detail this in the way that it didn't just look like a big lump. However, because we've got these here polished Blackstone, we've got the polished bricks, and we've then got the Blackstone stairs and blocks in as well, you can use this with things like the walls. I've just put some lighting in there. Ooh, fall off the edge. Just put some lighting in there, used some of the glass panes going around the corner just to curve everything off, and then a pressure plate on top just to cover up the wall that we've got there. And yeah, I think it looks really, really good. It's an amazing silhouette, and particularly as you've got it now with the full black blocks that you can create for this, you could quite easily fit inside. So I filled up the cockpit with some sea lanterns there just for some light at night time, and I will at the end of the video just stick it on to nighttime just to show this. It'll look mainly black, but you should be able to see some of the lighting. There's plenty of room in the cockpit if you did actually want to do an interior to the plane. And what I've just got as well at the back, again, fully low profile, and it's worth noting that both this and the killer whale are built in 1:1 Minecraft scale. So this is exactly the dimensions of the actual B2 bomber, and that is the size that a killer whale would be in reality. So if you did want to build these in your world, then they would look fantastic and they would look true to life. So I hope you've enjoyed that video. I will just now put on the nighttime very quickly. So here we have the B2 bomber in the night time, and I think it looks really good myself. I was quite pleased with this, and we'll just drop down now to look at the other builds. But thank you very much for watching. If you are new to the channel, or if you don't already, please do make sure that you hit that subscribe button. It really does help the channel, and let me know in the comments if you've enjoyed this video and you want to see more building ideas and tips, then let me know. And then thank you for watching, and I will see you next time on ADcraft.